They laughed at me, called me just a records assistant. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I went quiet.
She laughed before she even finished the sentence. "Oh, please," she said, waving her hand toward me. "He's just a records assistant." Her friends burst into laughter, not the polite kind, the sharp kind that lingers in the air long after it ends. We were at her colleague's birthday dinner, a place far too expensive for a Tuesday night. I hadn't wanted to come, but she insisted. Said it was important to mingle, important to show unity. Funny how unity always seemed to require my silence. I sat there, fork paused halfway to my plate while she enjoyed the attention. The waiter pretended not to notice. The table shifted uncomfortably, but no one spoke up. They never do when embarrassment belongs to someone else. I said nothing. That surprised her more than anger ever could have. On the drive home, she scoffed. "You could have at least defended yourself." "I didn't feel attacked," I replied calmly. She rolled her eyes. "You're too sensitive. It was a joke." It always was. At home, she went straight to the bedroom. I stayed in the kitchen, washing dishes we hadn't even dirtied. The reflection in the dark window looked older than I felt. Tired, reduced. I had been a records assistant for 11 years. Not because I lacked ambition, but because I valued precision. I understood systems. I knew how information moved, how decisions were made quietly, without applause. The people who laughed at me that night had no idea how often they relied on work that passed through my hands. Including her, I didn't confront her, not that night. Not the next day. Silence, I'd learned, gave me room to think. Over the following weeks, I had paid attention to what she said, to what she assumed, to how comfortably she dismissed me. She talked openly about promotions she deserved, connections she was cultivating, futures she imagined without ever asking if I was part of them. That's when I realized she didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as background, so I stopped trying to be visible to her. I stayed late at work, not to avoid home, but to finish something I'd been quietly preparing, a compliance report. Months of inconsistencies, overlooked authorizations, procedural shortcuts buried beneath routine approvals, nothing illegal on the surface. Dangerous underneath. I didn't raise alarms, I followed protocol. The review process moved slowly, as it always does. Meanwhile, life at home grew colder. She stopped pretending. I stopped reacting. Then one afternoon, HR requested a meeting. By the end of that week, half her department was under investigation, including her manager, including projects she'd proudly claimed credit for. She came home furious. "Do you know what's happening at work?" she demanded. "I've heard," I said mildly. She paced the living room. "This is ridiculous. People are panicking," I nodded. "That's usually what happens when things aren't documented properly." She stopped, looked at me carefully for the first time in a long while. "You know something?" she said. "I know how records work," I replied. "You've always known that." The fallout was swift, reassignments, suspensions, careers paused indefinitely. Her promotion vanished quietly without explanation. At dinner with the same friends weeks later, the energy was different. No laughter, no jokes. They spoke cautiously now, measuring their words. Someone asked me what I did again. "I manage institutional records," I said. No one laughed. The marriage didn't survive much longer. It couldn't. Resentment had replaced respect long before that dinner. When I filed for divorce, she accused me of betrayal. "You never warned me," she said. "I wasn't required to," I answered. The process was clean, calm, efficient, just like the work I'd always done. Months later, I ran into her at a cafe near the courthouse. She looked worn down, distracted. She noticed me last. "Oh," she said softly, "you look different." "I feel different," I replied. She hesitated. "I didn't realize how much you mattered." I met her eyes. "You did. You just thought I wouldn't leave." I finished my coffee and stood up. The laughter from that dinner still echoed, sometimes not painfully, just as a reminder. Being underestimated didn't break me. It clarified everything, and I've never been silent since. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more.